The world fears us. We are the favored of the gods. We plunder new lands. We raid and we grow strong. We live for battle, ready to die in glory. Of the factions that war in Heathmoor, it could be safely assumed that none are more hardy, brutal, and resilient as the Vikings. Rulers of the harsh northern lands of Valkenheim, the Vikings have staked a claim on Heathmoor on which they refuse to waver. It is far too easy to dismiss the Vikings as savage, primitive, and base in nature. But underestimate the Vikings at your own peril, for these ferocious Nordic warriors have battle in their blood, and war is their tradition. Their very faith is painted in blood and fire. When the cataclysm struck over 1,000 years ago, the Vikings were convinced that it was the great battle of Ragnarok at last, the final battle of the gods. And yet, when the dust settled and all was still, they remained. The Vikings had not been called to Odin's hall. But why? Were they not worthy? This had to be amended. Determined to regain their honor, the Vikings will prove their worth and their purpose through battle, so that should the gods test them once again, they will not be found wanting. The Vikings call Valkenheim their home. It is a name that means Land of Ravens. A fitting name, for ravens are the eyes of the gods, watching over every battle expectantly and with interest. Within its icy terrain, there are hundreds of different clans and tribes, all governed and presided over by jarls, with the warborn being the most powerful and far-reaching. Alliances between clans are made as frequently and as easily as they are broken. Infighting is common among the Viking clans, and animosity runs as thick as blood spilt from an open wound. Indeed, the Vikings seem to enjoy fighting each other as much as their own neighbors. This is because to a Viking, there is no greater honor or glory than that claimed in war and bloodshed. The gods care less for brotherhood and docility than they do for fearless passion and ruthless tenacity in battle. When their lands and clans are threatened, there is no foe the Vikings will not ravage and decimate to defend their homelands and proclaim their strength. They will deliver their message of war to all would-be invaders at the end of an axe, and the song of ravens will sound upon fields of the dead who thought they could overcome the clans of Valkenheim. All warriors know that death is inevitable, and the Vikings understand this well. They have no fear of death. Rather, they merely fear a death without glory and merit. A Viking's goal is a glorious death, one that will be worthy of their ancestors' praise. It is not enough that you fight and die in battle, but that you die in such a way that Valhalla opens its doors to you. Indeed, if they are to be favored by the gods, then they must live and die in a manner that pleases them. This is why so many Vikings forego the use of stronger armor. What use is it when fate has already determined your death? All you can decide is how well you meet it. As the undisputed masters of the rivers and lakes of Heathmoor, the Vikings are able to make war almost anywhere and at any time. All in Heathmoor have learned to dread the low, haunting howl of a Viking war horn calling over the misty waters. But there are few forces able to withstand the full might of a Viking fleet crashing upon the shores. The brutality and savagery of a Viking raid is the stuff of legends among the denizens of Heathmoor. But beneath the brutality and ferocity of the Vikings rests the heart of true warriors who have sworn themselves to their clan, their kin, and their lands. Valkenheim is an unforgiving and brutal land to call home. So to survive, the Vikings have learned to become just as brutal and merciless themselves. Though all of the factions fight for honor, to the Vikings, honor is a matter of reputation and battle honors. Fearlessness is praised and venerated. Cowardice and treachery are shamed and reviled. Those who earn the respect of the clans and the gods are the ones destined to reach Odin's halls when the next great Ragnarok strikes. Freedom is their greatest virtue, the ability to live free and make their own way in the world. To plunder, settle, and battle endlessly is the Viking idea of true paradise. In this war-torn land, the strong will stake their claim, and the Vikings have proven their strength time and time again. They are the rulers of the northern lands of Heathmore, the true sons of Valhalla, and the favored of the gods. They are the Vikings of Valkenheim.